Has a famous vehicle required a facelift more than the Jeep Cherokee since its needle-nosed presentation for the 2014 model year? While Jeep's center youngster SUV, opening beneath the Grand Cherokee or more the new Compass, was sufficiently sharp to offer almost 170,000 units simply a year ago, it generally struck me as just somewhat, well, unusual looking. Clearly I wasn't just a single. Among the host of enhancements and overhauls that Jeep has fashioned for the 2019 Cherokee, the most evident is the nose all over, in a manner of speaking. The pointed nose has been supplanted with a higher, blunter front end, which by and large resembles a littler variant of the Grand Cherokee. That incorporates new LED headlights. Indeed, all lighting has gone LED, and on each trim level, that are less squinty than those they supplant. Losing the definitive front end of the auto makes the entire shape altogether traditional. In keeping in mind that I'm commonly a vocal defender of car outline that shuns the customary, this is one fight I'm cheerful tradition has won. Past the significantly better face, you'll be unable to perceive how the 19 Cherokee varies from its ancestor. 5 new wheel plans will help, including a getting dull completed wheel for the Trailhawk, and the model's first historically speaking arrangement of 19 inches. The Lodge has likewise been refreshed for the invigorated Jeep, with the Superstar being an inside stack that flawlessly outlines the accessible 8.4-inch Uconnect infotainment screen. This is the 4th age for Uconnect programming, and it stays truly outstanding in the business. Multi-touch motions are bolstered, squeeze to zoom, tapping and swiping, and so forth, and the reaction time and aggregate list of capabilities are magnificent. In the event that you need root, you should select the 8.4-inch or 2. The standard touchscreen is 7 inches, and is fine regarding ease of use, yet doesn't look about so noteworthy. The littler screen winds up thickly confined in dark plastic, making it in a split second clear that there's a superior form you didn't purchase. All things considered, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are upheld by the two frameworks, which is tremendous. Whatever remains of the inside is very pleasant and more refined than you'd expect on the off chance that you haven't been in a Jeep item of late. Indeed, there are still some rough, rather worker-like plastics to be discovered everywhere on, all of which look a small piece less expensive in the all-dark inside than they do oblivious darker differentiating colorway. Yet strong-feeling switchgear, cushy and steady seating, and an extremely pleasant, thick-rimmed guiding wheel all assistance to class up the joint. Jeep has built surely more space in the Lodge, notwithstanding refurbishing it. Strikingly, the back freight territory has been somewhat broadened. I was let you know would now be able to lay an arrangement of golf clubs sideways, yet I didn't have my sack along to check, and the space behind the back seats expanded to 27 cubic feet. However, you won't purchase a Cherokee for largeness alone, as its most extreme stockpiling behind the front seats of 54.9 CUFT is well short of autos like the Toyota RAV4 or Nissan Rogue, both of which offer 70 shapes or more. Maybe the most impactful changes Jeep offers, nonetheless, must be felt instead of seen. First off, there's the expansion of the organization's new turbocharged 2.0-liter 4-chamber to the powertrain blend. Rated at 270 strength and 295 pound-feet of torque, the motor has an extremely fulfilling low-extent punch, and is by all accounts exceptionally very much mated to the 9-speed programmed transmission. The organization asserts a 0-60 time of 7.0 seconds for the 2.0T Cherokee, which wouldn't break any records, yet it's all that anyone could need that I was unquestionably dicing with LA-bound movement. The 2.0T is a discretionary redesign on everything except the most essential Latitude trim. It costs about $500, and ought to likewise enhance efficiency versus the 3.2-liter Pentastar V6. EPA evaluations still can't seem to be computed, be that as it may. About that V6, it's still really great, even despite its more present-day, littler uprooting lineup mate. The 6 offers 271 horsepower and 239 pounds-ft, and I would contend sounds more blending than the turbo engine when you truly stick your foot in it. Also, with the discretionary towing bundle, the V6 has a higher tow rating than the 2.0T, 4,500 pounds versus 4,000 pounds, which will surely be a thought for a few purchasers. In the interim, the normally aspirated 2.4-liter Tiger Shark i4 is as yet the base motor for the Latitude through the limited 4x2 trims. Jeep minders disclosed to me that the 180 HP, 170 lb-ft motor gets stop-begin tech without precedent for 2019, yet they didn't convey one out to California for us to test. You don't regularly compare little SUVs with gorge cutting, yet that is what was presented out and about drive segment of the test, and on some of my most loved streets through the waterfront mountains. The work that has been done to influence Cherokee to feel lovely darn able on these forceful streets shouldn't be disregarded. The recalibrated directing didn't wow me as far as street feel, however the tuning of the electric powerade terms of weight is extremely pleasant. Neither too light nor too substantial, utilizing the wheel to toss the SUV from corner to corner, in curves no less, was very fulfilling. The dampers, bushings, and influence bars have all been balanced, as well, and the outcome is a skilled dealing with vehicle that depended on securely understeering simply after I pushed it extremely hard. I just had a short stretch on the expressway, however it was sufficient to report that ride quality on the interstate is extremely decent too. Clamor in the lodge from tires and wind is all around smothered, as well, however the CR-V and Rogue both do that better. Anybody shopping at the Jeep dealership likely anticipates that the Cherokee will do no less than one thing far, obviously better than standard little SUVs, however, get in and out of grimy spots easily. Driving through rough terrain is the brand's upper hand, and it's not one that is by all accounts lost on the mass-advertised Cherokee. Presently, it's reasonable for specify that you can purchase a front-drive Cherokee in each trim level however Trailhawk, yet I'm informed that something like 65% of purchasers select to spend the additional $1,500 for the 4x4 adaptations. It's a Jeep, all things considered. That trail-rated Trailhawk, finish with the active drive lock 4-wheel drive framework that offers a back-locking differential and a low range, is mercilessly skilled rough terrain. Jeep set up an extremely genuine rough terrain session for this test, including moving up and over enormous stones, driving sideways through trench, and mounting steep evaluations of free sand and rock. With some noteworthy ORV details: 29.9 degrees of approach point, 32.2 degrees of flight edge, a breakover edge of 22.9 degrees, a most extreme 51.2, 1 slither proportion, and 8.7 creeps of ground freedom, my Trailhawk chugged through everything. Standard purchasers will probably approve of the lesser Jeep Active Drive 2, with the 2-speed control exchange unit and low range, however no locking diff, alongside the select terrain footing control framework with settings for auto, snow, sport, sand, mud, and rock. Positively people in frigid or uneven areas of the nation will appreciate the additional consolation of beyond any doubt hold. Getting a greater amount of those mainstreamers is exactly what Jeep is after, as well as its exceptionally aggressive offer would appear to demonstrate. For example, at the exceptionally base of the range, a 4x2 Latitude, the organization has really lessened the MSRP by $400 to $23,995. Presently, that is not the Cherokee I would purchase, as I think the absence of 4x4 treats fairly blunts the vehicle's explanation behind being, however the value walk upwards should keep Cherokee in a great deal of thought sets. Here are a couple of nuts and bolts: adding 4-wheel drive to any trim expenses $1,500, redesigning from the 2.4-liter to the 3.2-liter expenses $1,745, and moving from that V6 to the 2.0T runs you $500. Layered over those essentials are 5 trim levels: Latitude, $23,995, Latitude Plus, $26,495, Limited, $30,375, Overland, $36,275, and Trailhawk, $33,320. Those costs, spare Trailhawk, are for the 2-wheel drive adaptations. To me, the Trailhawk is, however marginally costly, the variant to search out. Not exclusively is it the most separated from the little SUV pack, you're not going to take a RAV4 for a cheerful end of the week in Moab, yet it gets greater wheels, better tires, and in any event the alternative of the cooler infotainment screen. And just for somewhat not as much as best spec levels of contenders from Chevy, Nissan, and Honda. Then again, I'm not sold on the new turbo motor is worth the asking cost. As far as both smoothness and speed, that Pentastar V6 still feels appropriate for this vehicle, the old young lady isn't played out yet. Also, it's one of only a handful few V6 offerings left in this fragment. Indeed, even with a nice-looking new face, the Jeep Cherokee is, all things considered, to some degree a specialty recommendation in a monstrous deals class. Yet, I don't see that as a negative. Regardless of whether you require trail-rated sturdiness or not, Jeep offers a soil-under-the-nails advance where the best offering Japanese brands are for the most part on roaders that do okay in the snow. What's more, the Cherokee, similar to the Jeep marque, additionally has a sort of indescribable coolness, therefore. Coolness, strength, and not any more peculiar nose. Think of me as locally available for the second demonstration of the advanced Cherokee.